You want to know what's even worse than real news that you don't like? Fake news that you don't like. Today, we're going to be going over Paldea Evolved and some of the rumors circulating around reprints recently. Now, I do want to preface this by saying, I do have a small position in Paldea Evolved. I have a whopping 1 sealed case and 8 loose boxes with an average cost basis I calculated of about $165 a box. So if you think I'm here to shill Paldea Evolved booster boxes, that is my full position. The irony of that is that whether it goes to $450 or whether it goes back down to $250 a box, I won't be selling. So do with that information as you will. As we look at this, this was pretty much the flyer, the post that got sent earlier last week, I believe. So 7 or 8 days ago, saying reprint confirmed, Scarlet and Violet Paldea Evolved. And it has ETBs, booster bundles, booster boxes in the picture there for reprint, potentially, quote unquote. And then Magikarp and Tyranitar just showing some of the cards. But it says, news update, reprint of Paldea Evolved coming soon to major retailers. That's an important keyword there. This group can confirm that a reprint of Paldea Evolved has taken place in our sources at several big box retailers, another keyword there, have received inventory currently being stored in their warehouse. Set contains the iconic Magikarp Tyranitar. We expect restock for various products to take place in the upcoming weeks. This group will be fully prepared for these restocks and any other surprises set to come in the upcoming days. Days is interesting, so we'll see. Link in bio to join our premium Discord so you don't miss anything. That's another key component of this. All content creators that we've seen so far, especially a lot of them and LGSs that have big distribution accounts, they have publicly stated that they have not heard any rumblings from distribution about booster boxes specifically getting reprinted. If it's just booster bundles and ETBs, it really depends on the amount. But I've heard about bundles and possibly check lane blisters. It doesn't really matter. The point I'm trying to make is I don't think this is going to have as big of an impact on the market as people think. If we look at TCG Player, I mean, when this reprint, quote unquote, got announced last week, there was a bit of a dump down to, the averages don't really show it here, but if you look at the sales data last week, I think we got as low as about 320 to 330. And it's pretty much recovered on TCG Player at least to about 360-ish a box. On eBay, it's a bit lower. So most recent sale of 341. Most recent auction, 310. There's a lot of 300 to 320-ish. I would say it's probably closer to 320 average on eBay. So we've seen like a 10 to 15% drop, I believe, from the highs of like 370, maybe 10 to 20%. But it seems like it's kind of rebounded in the sense that it's not taking the news too seriously. Even if there is a massive reprint of booster boxes, which I don't think there will be, and I'll get into that more in a second, it doesn't seem like the market is really fazed by this news. The first thing I want to go over with this post is that the words I mentioned or highlighted, major retailers, and also they've received notifications from several big box retailers. Typically, big box, when you think of like Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, Costco, all these other, wherever channel of or whatever store they choose to go through in big box, typically I don't think we've really ever seen booster boxes hit those channels. It's usually the smaller products, the ETBs, the collection boxes, the booster bundles, the 3-pack blisters, the check lane blisters. I want to say that that's a reason why I don't think there's much of a case for booster boxes to get reprinted. We have, again, the content creators and LGS is saying they haven't heard any news. We have this group specifically calling out big box and major retailers, which usually I feel like a lot of the booster boxes go to the LGS or the online stores with these big distribution accounts. Now, could I be wrong? 100%. But I'm trying to make an educated guess based on what I'm seeing online, which is that there is not much substantial evidence for booster boxes specifically getting reprinted. And those are kind of the cream of the crop product, the pinnacle of most Pokemon collecting as far as sealed product goes. Now, another reason why I don't think booster boxes for Paldea Evolved specifically, SV02, the second set in Scarlet Violet era, is that likely is because if we look here, Pokemon Legends Z to A is expected to release October 16th, 2025. So that's about 2.5 months away. They have their Mega Evolution set for the TCG coming out September 26th. So even less than that, about a month and a half, month and 3/4 away. I don't think Pokemon is as focused on early Scarlet and Violet era. That's kind of been the narrative everyone's been running with. Another reason why they are likely not going to reprint a lot of these early era Scarlet Violet era sets are especially the ones pretty much SV based through Paldean Fates. They are a part of what's known as the G block. So if I zoom in here on the bottom of the card, actually, you can see it's indicated by the letter G. Those are currently in standard rotation and playable, tournament legal, whatever. The G block will be leaving in April of 2026, I believe. You have SV01 Scarlet Violet Base, SV02 Paldea Evolved, which is obviously the one we've been talking about, SV03 Obsidian Flames, SV 3.5 151, SV04 Paradox Rift, and SV 4.5 Paldean Fates, which this Bubble Mew comes from. Those will all be no longer tournament legal, I believe, in standard rotation, which is important because in my experience, what I've noticed is Pokemon usually likes to reprint based on the availability of cards for players and collectors alike, but mostly players. And so just because the price of the box is high for Paldea Evolved, it's currently, I believe, still the most expensive booster box in the Scarlet Violet era. Just because it's a $350 box, the price alone I don't think is enough to cause Pokemon to reprint it. Granted, if it was a newer set, we're talking Journey Together, Destined Rivals, Black Bolt, White Flare, whatnot, I think there is more of a case to be made about reprints because it's still in standard rotation. It's a brand new set within, the last year. They want that to be available for both collectors and especially players who need the cards to build decks. SV02 is going out of rotation in less than a year. It's like, 8 months away? So I am using that as kind of the final nail in the coffin to where I don't see a reason why they would reprint the booster boxes of Paldea Evolved specifically. And honestly, for a lot of these early era SV sets, I don't see why they would. These sets have already gotten reprinted pretty heavily. They just are not currently really that available because they've circulated into the hands of collectors and investors alike. I just think these posts can be very misleading, right? Because you have booster boxes in this image. You have the word reprint confirmed. When we hear the word reprint, the reason why I say it's kind of an emotionally charged word, when we hear reprint, we think of mass scale, hitting distribution, all types of products being printed, usually, or in a lot of cases, booster boxes at least. But then when you hear the word restock or something like that, it's usually other types of products. And I don't know. Something rubbed me the wrong way about this post. And I think it did for a lot of other people as well. I wanted to say something about it because I'm a small investor, relatively speaking, but I have most of my investments, quote unquote, are in sealed product, a lot of booster boxes, which again, I don't really care about the short-term movement, even if it drops 30-40% due to a big reprint. I think that's a good opportunity to buy back in. I just wanted to bring this up because I do know there were some people that sold positions based on the news. And in this case, it was not a good move to sell the news because it wasn't really news at all. It was more of just a marketing ploy, in my opinion, to get people to join their Discord group. They directly benefit from people believing this news and wanting to get access to product still, because obviously product is super scarce across the hobby. And so a lot of people probably did join this group in hopes of getting access to, say, booster boxes in this case. Now, they could have joined for these other products as well. I do think it's going to be extremely difficult, even if they do reprint a lot of them, because this set is so hot still. But moral of the story is be careful what information you trust, who you follow, and be sure to verify and follow up with others, or especially before you make like any emotional decisions to sell like big parts of your position just based on information that might not be true. I saw a lot of people commenting on this post saying, you know, finally we can crush the scalpers and like reprint it into the ground, all these things, where I understand the sentiment from those people who just want access to the product, but at the same time, they're saying things preemptively thinking that booster boxes, in this case, we're going to get reprints, which to me, I'm not seeing any sign of it. Sounds like a lot of other people are not as well. And I think there's like a long list of reasons why that would be unlikely. They need to reprint a lot of other sets, a lot of newer sets, before they reprint Paldea Evolved, especially with it going out of standard rotation. So players probably don't really care as much about it in the long term. Obviously, it is probably very expensive for them to get access to now, but come 6 to 8 months from now, it's not really, well, come 8 months from now, it's not going to be a problem for them. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. And I will catch you all in a new one soon. Peace.